People of the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And y'all remember this wig? It was supposed to be pink. When I ventilated it, some of the hair was black, so when I bleached it, some of it stayed dark. And in fact, this part of it bleached to a gray color, a dark blackish gray, whereas the rest of it came out blonde. But when I put the dye on it, it turned this red color instead of pink. It was supposed to be this color pink. As you can tell, that's a big difference. Well, that was when I was using a particular coloring product, and I used a watercolor method to get the entire wig raspberry twist pink, because I didn't have enough dye at the time. Well, come to find out, raspberry twist, some people call it red, some people call it pink. I used it for over 2 years and it gave me a vibrant pink. But depending on your hair, how much density you have in your hair, how thick your hair is, how well it takes dye, some people get red, some people get pink. Well, now I use Iro. Consistently, I get pink. When I dye my hair with Iro number 70 pink, I get this color. And this is faded, by the way. When I dyed the extensions, I got Iro very bright, vibrant pink. So I was going to remove the hair off of this and just reventilate the wig cap. And then it occurred to me, why don't I just go ahead and brush it completely out, do a bleach bath, see if I can get blonde, because then I could just dye it Iro pink, ventilate some hair in this area where it kind of burnt out or melted off, shall we say. And it was real stiff because, well, I over bleached it. In fact, it got bleached. Well, it got lightened 3 times and bleached twice. It was a real effort to get it to even lighten up to the point where it is now. And yeah, but anyway, this is the amount of hair I brushed out. It has consistently been shedding. And usually when that happens, that means, you know, it's time to just get rid of it and start over. So instead of doing that, I've already parted it in 4 sections. I'm going to give this another bleaching with some quick blue and some 20 volume developer, some shampoo. I'm literally going to do a bleach bath and see if I can salvage this wig. If not, if it, you know, sheds completely out or breaks completely off, I still have the wig cap, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to literally take some Nair, cover the whole thing, well, turn it inside out, cover the whole thing, and then just pull out the hair as it melted off and use the wig cap. But yeah, I'm going to give it a try with the bleach bath, and then do a protein treatment to basically hold on to what hair is still attached. I used the aluminum comb and my smallest brush to comb out all that hair. So it's no longer shedding, but there are blank spots that I can reventilate the hair in and re-dye it Iro pink, because, you know, and I wore it yesterday, you know, even though it was shedding everywhere. But that wig cap is the best wig cap I ever made. It fits perfectly. The hairline, the ears, the back, literally it is the carbon copy of my head. And I didn't even use the head mold to do that. Let's see if I still have that. Instead, that's the one I used, the size 24 canvas block. This is a 22. I use this simply for styling. And if somebody has a small head and they want me to make a wig, I use a 22. But for my head, I got a dome. My head is literally 24 inches around. You can see the 24 on there. Well, that's kind of faded. But down there you can see where it says 24. So I used a 24 block. This was a medium-sized cap, so I literally used the guide. I've talked about this before. Hold on. I literally used that guide right there and cut the medium and put in a little piece this big and literally remade the wig cap, and that's how come it fits my head perfectly. So I don't want to get rid of the wig cap, even though the hair on it is not cooperating with me. So I figure I'm going to give that a try and bring you along with me. So yeah, in the meantime, this has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soap's located, that looks like my mom. My soap's located at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed too. Bye now. People of the Purple Butterfly here. So I put some shampoo, the last of the Quick Blue, because I'm not going to use that product ever again anyway, so I might as well go ahead and use it up. The last of the 20 volume developer in here. Wow. And it definitely smells like bleach. Well, more like ammonia, but still. It got that chemical smell going on. And I'm stirring it until these lumps go away. Then I'm going to add some water, enough to cover the wig, which I've combed through and made sure that there's no major shedding going on. I put on some gloves because, hey, we don't want to fry my skin on top of it. I'm just going to tamp out some of these lumps. And if this works, it should work almost instantaneously. If not, it'll take 10, 15 minutes. I'm not going to do a 30-minute bleach bath because, well, if it was a black wig that was going to be lifted as much as possible, then I would do 30 minutes. But for right now, we're just going to do 15 minutes. Add some water. Just to get out the sides there. Stir it some more. From what I understand, it should be a really watery consistency and enough to cover the wig, which means I'm going to need more water because it's definitely very watery, but it's not enough to cover the wig. And just like, you know, and there's bubbles. You know how they say bleach doesn't lather? Well, when you add shampoo, it lathers. And that's kind of the point, is to, you know, when you do a bleach wash or a bleach bath or a bleach shampoo or whatever term they want to call it, that's the point. Just shampooing the bleach in, combing it through, so that way you can get a bleaching effect. Okay. Most of the lumps are gone. Let's add a little more water. That should be enough. Oh, I'm going to need to find something to cover that up with. So, 1 second. second. Let's find my soap bowl. This is the bowl I use to make soaps. That is not big enough. But if nothing else, I'll put it in there and let it, cover the whole top of it. Can't hurt it because it's stainless steel. Need to find my brush. Because part of the process is you have to brush the bleach through. So I'm going to turn it inside out first. But this is what I was talking about when I remade the cap. Fits my head perfect. So I'm going to put it in here. Lace first. It's a good thing I did that because I could see that some of the lumps, well, some of the bleach didn't dissolve completely. So I'm just going ahead and brush that through. Then I'm going to turn it inside out. Get the whole thing. Make sure it's saturated. Oh yeah, I was supposed to start with wet hair. Yeah, just remembered that now. And then brush through. And the entire bowl of water is now pink. So I'm assuming that's because it's lifting up the color. I should stir that more, but live and learn. Switch it around here some more. I think it needs more water. I'm just going to squeeze that some. It is a shampoo, so might as well. Supposed to brush to make sure you're getting through everything, because when you do the watercolor method for coloring or for bleaching or whatever, you might not get every place. But I figure, it's shampoo. If I squeeze it and manipulate it, that should help work it through. Then put it back in the water, lift it up. More water, because that's not enough. That should be enough. Doesn't seem to be turning blonde to me, but it's only been what, 5-10 minutes? Not even 10 minutes. Just making sure it gets through. And the lumps that was on the back are almost gone. So I'm assuming that dissolved. Now, one more brush through. And then I'm just going to put it in the water with the hair facing down instead of the lace. The lace is going to be facing up, so that way I can make sure the hair gets maximum saturation. It did lighten a little if you go by the brush, but it also brushed out a lot. But that's okay, because wherever there's a missing spot, the wig maker, I could reventilate those areas. It's better than just tossing the whole wig willy-nilly. I'm going to give it every opportunity to be salvageable. But that's how much hair I just lost with that. Okay, I'm going to add a little more water. That way I can make sure it's completely covered. Then I'm going to take this top and put it down as far as I can. So if nothing else, it completely covers the hair. And I'm going to give that a 15-minute timer and see what I get. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, I was going to toss it anyway. So, yeah. This has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye now. People7 here, otherwise known as People on some parts of the internet, People7 other parts of the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And it's been 20 minutes, so let's see what's going on. It feels hot, so it's been processing something. I got my gloves back on. Well, actually, a new pair of gloves. Just on the top. Wow, that's a strong smell. Might have to let this soak a little bit longer. But it did lighten up some, I can tell. Didn't go back to blonde, but still. I'm still doing a lot of shedding. The part where the black hair is still dark. The part where the hair was blonde is in fact lighter. Let's squeeze this water out so you can see. Wow. Okay, let's do this a quick rinse. Let me show you something. But first, I'm going to do this bottle. All the water is red. Save the bleach water so that way if it needs to process longer, it can. That black hair was stubborn. So basically, the bleach bath took it back to that gray color. The rest of it seems to be trying to do a blonde thing. A little red thrown in. So that's what it looks like now. That's almost a pale pink. And then that black, as you can tell, is a dark brown. So yeah, and then some of it is getting towards a blonde. So I think I'm going to let it sit there for another 30 minutes or so. And I didn't lose too much hair this time. That's all. Not a lot. So we're going to put this back in the water. We're going to put this top back on it. Swirl it around a little bit. And I had put some paper, plastic bags on top of it to hold in any heat that was escaping. That turned out to be a good idea. So we're going to put this plastic right back on top. I can already feel the heat coming up. So I'm going to let it do what it do. Make sure it's completely covered. And I'll bring you back. P+7. P+7 here. People on Twitter and YouTube. People elsewhere on the, well, actually P+7 on Twitter and YouTube. People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And it's been another 20 minutes. And I don't want to risk, melting off the hair again. So I'm just going to go ahead and, if it's not enough, we'll go ahead and use standard lightning methods. But right now, I'm just going to go ahead and get it out of here. It's definitely lighter. Wow, that smell. Yeah. Well, that just literally decided it wanted to come right out. So I think we're done with this bleaching process because I don't want to lose all the hair. But actually, I don't care if I do it though, because I can always ventilate more hair in, seeing how this full lace wig was ventilated completely by me in the first place. Yeah. If nothing else, I'll remove the hair that's refusing to lighten up, because it literally, that dark hair was package dyed color number 1, which is literally box black, and the company, which has since gone out of business, basically did nefarious things, which is how come we have this issue here. I can remove that with some narrow and just put blonde in the rest of it. Yeah. Just go ahead and give this a quick rinse and show you what I got. It's definitely a lot lighter now. So even though it didn't go back to blonde, it's light enough for me to put more pink on top of it and be vibrant enough to stay that way. Go behind this with some shampoo. Because some of the parts of the bleach that didn't really dissolve is still hanging around there. And so the goal didn't do to wash that out. This is what I have now. And then we have where that dark hair was. But I'm thinking, go ahead and dye it Emerald Pink, and if the dark hair wants to make like a highlight effect, that'll be fine. As long as the rest of the hair is pink. So, yeah. Squeeze all that water out. Just turn that off in case it's bleeding out my sound. And the roots have definitely gotten lighter. Let's see if I can aim the light more. So yeah. Successful bleach bath. I'm gonna call it success because look at there. The hair is not coming out anymore. It's been literally brushed to the point where it can't lose any more hair. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and dye it to a lighter shade, specifically Emerald Pink. And the part that was black that's now looking kind of purplish. I like purple. So we'll let it do what it's gonna do. But meantime, I'm just gonna wash out all the bleach. Put a deep conditioner on there, specifically the algae that I bought originally for when I over bleached it in the first place. Oh, well. The water's pink. It's literally washing out more color. So let's see how that works out. And this shampoo smells amazing. It's the Herbal Essence Body Envy. It doesn't have a particular name for the fragrance, but it's a fusion of white nectarine and pink coral flower, and it literally smells like nectarines. So yeah, that's a lot lighter. Once it's completely dry and everything, I might put it on so you can see what it looks like. But first, gotta make sure there's no traces of bleach left in the hair, because the last thing we're going is that on my skin and on my scalp level. to rinse it out with hot water or warm water, but I failed to adjust the temperature, so it's getting rinsed out with warm water right now. Don't look good. What I like about the swab and the herbal essence is, even though it surges up intensely, it rinses away very fast. So you don't have to worry about keep rinsing, and still have soap left over. And the timer just went off over there. I set the timer for 30 minutes. So apparently my sensor timing is still rather accurate. Like I said, it's only been like 20 minutes, so yeah. That's what it looks like now. And of course that automatically bleached the roots. So that way the new color won't have those issues of, hey, I can see the roots going on. Because, yeah, the only root color will be pink. So that's what I got so far. And I think I might give this a couple more rinses, maybe with a clarifying shampoo to get as much of the color out as possible. But as for the bleaching process, you just see me get rid of all the bleach. I'm not going to do that again. When I lighten my hair, because it is time, I might put a little lightener on the part of the wig that was black to see if I can get that to lighten up more. But for the most part, bleach is out. I'm going to do a protein treatment and call it a day, basically. And I noticed the only hair that's brushing out now is where the black hair was. The hair I was going to get rid of anyway. That's it. Just to be sure that all the soap is out, I'm going to go ahead and give it a dip rinse. Which is a lot easier than just, holding it onto the water. Because you can see everywhere that you didn't quite get it, if that makes sense. No suds, so it's completely rinsed. I'm going to let that completely drip dry. Well, first I'm going to comb it out, then I'm going to let it completely drip dry, but that's what I got now. And then, well actually no, I'm going to do the protein treatment first, to be sure. It's the apogee, apogee. I could say that word right. 2-part. So basically, that'll stiffen it up. Basically, what it does is it's pure protein. So any place you have weak hair, whatever, the apogee will strengthen it by making it hard, and then the 2-part or the part 2 will soften all the really hard stuff up, but leave you with a balance, so that way the hair is strong. Speaking of apogee 2-part, I've seen people do this. They go ahead and they get part 1 and think, hey, okay, I'll save money by not using part 2, and then when their hair gets really, really stiff, then they want to complain, hey, that broke my hair off, blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't use it properly. If you get part 1 apogee, use part 2. They're made to work together very specifically, and if you don't use part 2, you're going to have issues with part 1. This has been People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps look at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay better and stay tuned. Bye now. Completely rinsed out. So it is much lighter now. The part where the black hair was is kind of like a murky purple. Every place that was pink, well, red that was supposed to be pink, is closer to blonde. It's definitely blonde at the roots. And this is totally wet, so it will dry much lighter. But before it dries, I'm going to put a protein treatment in it, which just fell over. There we go. The apogee 2-step. So yeah, that way that'll minimize whatever's weak or shedding, and then soften it back up after that process is done. But yeah. But what I find amazing, because I've ventilated this wig with a whole lot of hair, I brushed out a whole lot of it, and I still have a full head of hair left on this wig. The only parts that's a little sparse is right here in the front, and I can always reventilate more hair in there. So yeah. Hello, the Purple Butterfly here, otherwise known as People7 on Twitter and YouTube, People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps look at PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. And the bleach bath didn't go as I hoped it would, but it did lift the color in the most unique way. It's been washed, conditioned, had a protein treatment, so forth and so on. This is what it's looking like now. So even though it did lighten up to the point where some of it's slightly blonde, some of it's also purple. And then of course the black went back to being gray. It's got like a multi-dimensional personality going on. I am not going to re-bleach it or anything like that. I'm thinking I'm going to wear it until it finishes doing this shedding thing. Then I'll lay some new hair into it that will be blonde, and then re-dye it. But in the meantime, that's how it's looking. Looks like a kaleidoscope of color, doesn't it? Out. couple of little wet spots there, but yeah. But that's how that came out. So, tomorrow is the day that I need to do my roots and refresh my Eero. So, I'm thinking I'm going to do a couple of little tests on certain sections to see if it will actually take the Eero. If so, I'll just re-dye it. If not, then we'll just figure out what we're going to do at that point. But for right now, I'm just going to put it on. Let's see. But we don't want any streaks going through there where, hey, some of it's pink and some of it's black and some of it's this color, some of it's that color. So we'll just put on a cap. Adjust it. Hold on. There we go. And generally, I like a part right there. Go ahead, Kay, knock your own glasses off your face. That color palette is going to take some getting used to. But that's what I have now. And not a lot of shedding. I've literally brushed anything that can shed completely out of this wig. So, yeah. That behind my ear. In an odd way, this looks like my hair looks when I don't color it. The gray streak is back, except for the gray streak is kind of a dark charcoal and silver. That's too funny. And a little purplish thing going on. But yeah. This has been P+7 on Twitter and YouTube. I'm thinking I like this. People elsewhere on the internet. My soaps located PurpleButterfly-soaps.myshopify.com. My blog, PurpleButterfly-people.blogspot.com. Y'all stay blessed, stay tuned. Bye now. I might leave it this way. I haven't decided yet because it's a look. I like it. Or I'll just go ahead and re-dye it purple. Nope. Eero pink.